In this video, we will be looking into how you can integrate Notifee notifications in React Native application. So before diving into the code, the first thing you have to do is you have to set up a React Native project. So you can use the latest version or you can use this version, which I have used now to for just testing and teaching purposes. Right. So I'll discuss each and every library that you have to install for this to work. The first one is Notifee. So to schedule local notifications, you have to use Notifee to do that, which is extremely fast and an efficient solution. The second one is the date time picker, which is a library which we will be using in both our Android and iOS side to set that particular time and date which the notification has to be triggered, right? And then no need to install these things. The next one, what you have to do is install Day.js, which is an awesome library for date and time handling, as well as these ones. So we would be using MMKV, which is an alternative to local storage, and it is blazing fast. The last one would be the permission. So in order to ask permissions in both Android and iOS, we need to use this particular library, right, to ask permissions for notifications in Android. So now let's dive into the code. So if I go to this particular Notify integration one, I will explain each and every code from top to bottom. Now, the first thing you have to do is you have to request permissions in Android as well as in iOS. So as I said before, in UseEffect, what you can do is you can call this particular uh, code to ask permissions in Android devices which have Android 13 and above, right? So you can do this and then request this permission, and then only the notifications will be sent. After that, what you have to do is you have to create a channel. So in order to create a channel, what you have to do is you can give it like this. And then for each channel, you have to enter a channel ID. And then you also have to give a name. These things are optional and these things are mandatory. So once you do this, it will be enabled for Android. And the next one, now to do for iOS, you have to use this particular code to get notification permission from the user, which can be gotten from this particular library which we have installed before. Whenever you install a library, you have to go to iOS and run pod install, and then it will be done. And that's it. That's how you ask permissions, right? The next one, what we are going to do is we are going to go into the app and we are going to see the demo. So if you tap on this, what you can do is I have used date time picker for selecting the date as well as the time in Android as well as in iOS. But for Android, the code will be slightly different because both the iOS operating systems use different uh, logics and designs to give the same functions. So what you can do is I'm going to select today and then I will click on 2:32 p.m. and click on save. So what happens is a reminder will be saved and then that particular reminder will be saved to the local storage with the help of mmkvme library. The same way I can go here and then I can click on this set date. I can click on this date, click on OK, and then I will click on this, click on the date OK, tap on this, and then I can go to 31. I'll go to 32 and then click on OK, click on save, and then a reminder will be created. So let's wait for a minute. Before that, we will discuss the code that I have written here. From the top to the bottom, I have imported status bar, which would change the status bar's color to white. As well as if I scroll down, you can see I have used platform.os, which is nothing but for iOS, I would show this code, and for Android, I would show this code. So what happens is when the user taps on it, for iOS, it would look in this way in a spinner type, and for Android, it would look an inline style, which is nothing but when the user taps on this particular button, the notification comes up, right? Sorry, the model comes up, and then the user can select the time and the date and click on save and to do it, right? So these are all the code for that. And then if I scroll down, the once the user has selected the time and date, he has to click on save. and then the notifications will be saved to the local storage, right? Which is nothing but the mmkb library. So in order to initialize the mmkb library, I have, used this. And then what I have done here is once the user has selected the particular date and time, I get those values and then create a random notification ID and then set that to mmkv, right? Along with that, I create notifications for both iOS and Android. So in iOS, I use this particular code to create the notification, and for Android, I use this. So in iOS, what happens is, so in iOS we have repeat frequency, right? Like here it is weekly. I can change it to repeat frequency dot daily, hourly, or none, right? So if I use none, what happens is the frequency, like the notifications will be triggered for only one time. If it's week, it's for every week, daily and hourly, or it's self-explanatory, right? This is the code for Notifee, and if I scroll down, here for Android 14 folks and above, what happens is Android 14 operating system has several other permissions for alarm manager. Even if the app is in silent mode, it would trigger the notification, right? So in order for these notifications to work like this, right? So you can see the notification got triggered with reminder now and view test. And if you go to Android, it is also like this. Right. So for the first one, in order to add sounds, right, what you have to do is you have to go, you can go anywhere and then get a WAV file or MP3 file and then convert that MP3 to WAV file like this. Right. Once you convert that MP3 file, you have to go to Android, app, source, main, rest and create a raw file and add it there. It should be a WAV file for both Android and iOS. For Xcode or for no iOS project, what you have to do is you have to go like open Xcode and then you have to manually drag and drop that particular file there. So I will show you where. And the next one is you can see that we have an icon for both Android and iOS, notification icon. In order to create that, you can go to this particular website, click on this notification icon generator, and then you can create one. So what you can do is you have to change it to IC notification and then change it whatever you want and then download this. Once you download it, what you have to do is go here in this one, add IC notification.png to all these files. Next one, you have to go to Android manifest, scroll down, and then in this section you have to add this code. Right. So all the code will be available in a Medium blog. You can go there and get it. Right. So for Android, this is the process. For iOS, I'll go here. First thing is you have to add a icon directly to in the app icon. So if I go here, I click on images, whatever icon that I add here will be shown here. And then the thing is you have to manually, let's say I manually now drag and drop this WAV file or whatever file here. Click on this and then click on finish. Right. The next one, what I have to do is click on this, click on signing and capabilities, go here, and then here you can see I have push notification, all this. Let's take I do this I will type push notifications and then I'll click on this. That will be added there. So these are the steps for that. Adding a notification sound as well as an icon image. And for Android specific, you can also add a color here which will be showcased here. Remember that this image should be in this format and not the image should not be full, right? Yeah. So that's it for all the notification style thing. And the same one, if I go back to the app, if I click on delete, right, the reminder will be deleted, right, if it's not scheduled for the future, right. So I'll change this to none. That's it. If you have any doubts, you can let me know in the comments. I will add the Medium blog description, a Medium blog in the description so that you can go there and get all the code required here. And then for the final one, in order to explain how the delete works, right, and then loading of the notifications work, what we do is One we create a random ID and then we add that random we initialize the random ID, which is the notification ID, and then we will set that notification to the local host like this, right? And then in the use effect, we load all these notifications like this, which will be shown in map function or in flat list like this, right? And then what we do is we use schedule notification or delete schedule notification function to delete or cancel the notification as well as delete that particular value from our local host. Right. In that manner, it also gets deleted from the local storage as well as the notification will be cancelled and it will not be triggered in the future. So that's it for this guide. I will see you in the next video.